Hi, my name's Derek Malone, and I am the Dean of Olin Library at Rollins College. I'm joined today by my colleagues Sarah Romero, Rachel Walton, and Cassidy Watson to talk to you about how we are rethinking access to course materials and how we are repositioning the library as a driver of affordability, equity, and institutional change. I'm going to dive in first and give you an administrative point of view, and then my colleagues are going to talk about specifics within their departments. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so glad that you're here for our presentation. And if you have any questions, please ask them when it concludes. Thank you so much and enjoy.
We've approached textbook affordability at Olin Library with what we consider being a little bit bold and a little bit different. We rebuilt our program with the goal of refamiliarizing the campus with what they have available to them through library services. We started with an OER first core. We've expanded access to our OER program, our grants, and we've gone from one a year to multiple options per year with availability. We took something that people were already familiar with and we've reimagined it with different possibilities, more grants and more support. And from that, we were able to be a little different in what we did. We branched out to additional facets for textbook affordability that include Olin Study Stacks, a platform that we think is tied to the future of our services, and expanded textbook reserves. And you hear about both of those in our presentation today. We also created a department centered on leadership of library digital strategies and scholarly communication, led by Rachel Walton, who you'll hear from today, and we're emphasizing that as a priority. This is really our differentiating factor. We are establishing textbook affordability as a central library priority. And we are adding proactive services and building allies around that focus. In terms of campus partners, we've really looked at how we can use our liaison communication to frequently talk about textbook affordability initiatives, opportunities for faculty, and the impact that it can have on students. We have, over the last 3 years, focused on sending our message in faculty meetings. I have spoken over the last 3 years at one faculty meeting each year and will continue to do so. And I've highlighted in those meetings textbook affordability services and how to talk to the liaison about getting support there. And then we have increased our consultative services because of that. We've aligned with opportunities, and we have a pipeline now with a department that we can funnel people to if they are interested in taking advantage in some of these initiatives. We're rooted in our why that we're doing this at Olin Library. It is easy for us to focus on money and textbook affordability for savings to students as a first priority, but we believe that there are a lot of contributors to our why of this program. We are trying to save students money, but we're also focused on access to materials, access from day one, and availability. We're focused on the library as a support location for this. We believe it integral to our mission, and we want to be the primary focus of textbook initiatives moving forward for this campus. And we are a retrieval point for materials. This extends a little bit even beyond just us as a library and doing traditional library services. We're also a retrieval point for United States Postal Service mail at our circulation desk. So we want to establish ourselves as that central retrieval point, and we think nothing better to do that than textbooks. From a business standpoint, I think it's quite obvious that the money saved is a prioritization, but we've had to reprioritize some of how we spend money to get to this goal. And this, like I said, is a future and a current priority for us. So we're willing to do that and put our money where our priorities are. So long term, what's the future look like for us as an academic library doing these textbook initiatives? What does the future look like, and what does the now look like? Long term, we're looking at being the textbook hub for this campus, a place for all course materials on campus, whether those be digital or physical materials. We want to be the textbook hub. That includes getting more departments to use Olin study stacks, and we'll talk about that later in this presentation. That includes more authors and users of OER through grant initiatives. And that includes more classes using textbook reserves for an entire class set. It includes us sharing the value of the library, sharing the money that we spent and the money that students have saved, and really relaying our why. I've already said this before, but I think it's worth it repeating in terms of our initiatives right now focused on textbook affordability. This is an incredibly high priority for us. We have made it a priority, and we've made it a talking point. And our mission at this point is to get into any conversation, to assert ourselves into any conversation we can to make this a future service that is impactful for the college. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Walton, Head of Library Digital Strategies and Scholarly Communication at Rollins College. Today I'm excited to share about Olin Study Stacks, our new library-hosted course materials hub. It's powered by Talus Aspire, which originally was a Sage product but now is with Cortex. We've rebranded it locally so faculty recognize it as a Rollins-specific library-supported tool. Olin Study Stacks lets instructors gather, organize, and share every kind of course resource they could want. Articles, ebooks, websites, PDFs, anything. In one easy list that integrates directly with Canvas, our learning management system. Students can get reliable day one access to what they need for class, and the library is connected behind the scenes with the tool. Acquisitions, reserves, and even digitization and copyright review are integrated into a single workflow. I want to talk a little bit about the course material pain points that we feel this tool can help us tackle. And these may not be unique to us. Across any campus, course material challenges can affect everyone. Students are known to delay or skip buying textbooks or other course materials because of cost barriers. Faculty spend a ton of time managing links and PDFs and streaming media in their learning management systems, but often run into issues like proxy errors, broken URLs, paywalls, and more. In addition, few faculty know about OER, Open Educational Resource Options, and how they can fully leverage that within or even outside of their learning management system. Our library manages several parallel processes that include print reserves, purchasing, and a few more. And these are all happening in silos in a way that creates information gaps and sometimes duplication of effort. We feel like Olin Study Stacks is helping us address all of these course material pain points. It's simplifying the course material ecosystem by putting the library at the center in a supportive role and linking the library to academic departments and internal departments to help with workflow. It isn't just another shiny product. It's part of our larger goal to make course materials at Rollins free, accessible, and sustainable for as many students as possible. Let me talk to you guys a little bit about how it works. Faculty create a dedicated reading list using Olin Study Stacks. They use a browser extension to do this. Within just a few clicks, they can add any resource, print, digital, open, web-based, and they can publish it to students in Canvas. There are a couple other really cool things they can do with Olin Study Stacks that kind of make it a unique resource. There's a PDF viewer that allows student commenting and also private note-taking. There's a note feature where they can make comments, where students and faculty can see the same notes and comments about reading list items. And faculty can put private notes in next to each item on their reading list directly for the library. One great feature that we're really harnessing is the library review feature. Faculty can request a library review, which enables us to verify access and licensing to the item, put through purchase requests, digitization requests, and print reserve requests, confirm copyright, and identify open or low-cost alternatives where we can. For faculty, this means less time and worries. They have the confidence that everything should just work as it should. Lists can be copied from semester to semester and shared with other instructors, so that's another benefit to them. Really, faculty are able to curate their materials, and the library review process allows us to ensure access. Importantly for students, this means getting what they need without problems, paywalls, or hopefully any cost. We piloted Olin Study Stacks this summer with the Education Department. And now we're working with others to adopt it across campus. Through this collaboration, the Education Department students now can receive free access to required course materials directly through Study Stacks. And in fact, the department has utilized a variety of other services from the library to ensure every student in the education program has free course materials. You can see the feedback here from Dr. Longsky is also overwhelmingly positive, pointing to efficiencies and empowered experiences with the tool as she built a new course. The impact of the tool is notable at this time. Faculty interactions with the library and library resources are arguably improved, and the faculty members' overall course prep experience is much more efficient. Students are getting guaranteed access to zero-cost materials, especially if we're doing our job right at the library. And for us, and I do want to emphasize this, Olin Study Stacks has been a real procedural game changer for the library departments that do reserves, acquisitions, now our new digitization portal, and e-resources. All of these are flowing through the same coordinated system, reducing duplication and increasing communication across library departments. Strategically, the tool is allowing us to be better positioned as a driver of affordability and to have more curricular insight to what people are teaching and what people need to help with teaching and learning across campus. Finally, we're really looking forward to the built-in analytics to the tool so we can try and buy smarter with our budgets and make some really impactful collection decisions using the data we collect in the tool. Looking ahead, we're expanding adoption through a departmental mini grant, offering a $500 award for any academic unit that trains and implements Olin Study Stacks before spring of 2026. Of course, with our support, help, and training at the library. Our goal is one day campus-wide adoption, but right now what we're seeing are smaller and really meaningful steps, department by department, faculty member by faculty member, so that we're getting closer and closer to affordable and accessible course materials at Rollins. I'm going to turn it over now to my colleague Cassidy Watson, who can share more about our other grant programs.
Hi everyone, I'm Cassidy Watson, Scholarly Communications and Open Educational Resources Coordinator at Olin Library. I'll be sharing how we've structured our OER and textbook affordability grant programs, the impact we've seen so far, and how faculty and students are responding to these initiatives. At Rollins, our OER and textbook affordability grants are the cornerstone of our affordability efforts. We launched these programs with a simple goal: reduce the cost of course materials for students while maintaining or improving the quality of teaching and learning. We currently offer 3 types of grant, designed to meet instructors where they're at. The OER Review Grant is for those who want to explore and evaluate open materials before committing to full adoption. This gives them the time and structure to review OER options within their discipline and make informed choices. The OER Grant is for instructors who are ready to implement, whether through adoption, or authoring open materials. We recognize that faculty are often interested in OER, but need the time, resources, and guidance to make the transition. That's where we come in. We offer tiered stipends ranging from $500 for smaller scale adoptions to $3,500 for more intensive projects such as creating a custom resource. The textbook affordability grant is for instances where OER might not be an option or the right fit, but are committed to reducing the cost through library materials, free resources, or other innovative approaches. All of these grants are open for year-round submission, and we've intentionally made the application process streamlined and approachable, which has boosted participation. We've made some enhancements to these grants. Originally, the OER grant required a 3-year commitment, which is a big ask, especially when faculty are already balancing teaching, research, and service. It also had one annual application deadline, which often didn't align with the faculty member schedule or course planning timeline. On top of that, the proposal process was long and detailed, which deterred many would-be applicants. As a result, the participation was low. We revamped the program to be more flexible and accessible. Now faculty commit to a 2-semester project, which is more manageable, and we've moved to a rolling application cycle so they can apply when it makes sense for their teaching. Along these structural changes, we also introduced a few key enhancements that really helped the affordability efforts thrive. First, we created a transparent grant rubric and a clear review process so that instructors know exactly what we're looking for and how their proposal will be evaluated. We also launched 2 new grants, the OER Review Grant and the Textbook Affordability Grant. The OER Review Grant is a smaller grant that gives faculty time and compensation to explore and assess OER materials before committing to a full adoption. It's a low-risk way to get faculty involved who might still be on the fence. It also allows us to recommend resources they might not be aware of. The Textbook Affordability Grant came about organically with an instructor who couldn't find the right fit with OER, but was open to using older editions in any format. We were able to acquire a class set for a reasonable cost. This grant now allows us to market this service, give more opportunities to reduce costs for students, and have an in with faculty who've not considered OER, but are interested in engaging students with affordable materials. Grantees now get dedicated coordinator support, which means I'm with them through the entire process. It also alleviates the burden on librarians to be the point person for the project, and they can instead focus on providing valuable content recommendations and specialized support. The relationships with faculty are really crucial for outreach. We also provide publishing and copyright support through the Rollins Digital Press, housed in our library's digital strategies and scholarly communications department. This is especially helpful for faculty who are adapting or creating their own content. We guide them through the licensing, layout, and public sharing. Altogether, these enhancements have made the program more approachable, more responsive, and more effective. Since revising the program, we've seen a steady rise in faculty interest across disciplines. As of the spring 2025 semester, our OER and textbook affordability grant programs have supported over 20 projects, engaging 25 faculty members and impacting courses across disciplines. Faculty and instructors have redesigned courses using open and low-cost materials in areas as varied as global languages, business, chemistry, and communication. These efforts have reduced costs for hundreds of students while fostering innovation in teaching and learning. We have a data dashboard to show the cost savings from our OER grants. We hope to tell a story with this dashboard, not just dollars saved, but how students are affected and how the grants support equity and access in the classroom. We plan to add this to this story by documenting how other affordability initiatives, such as the Textbook Affordability Grant Program, are saving students money. We also wanted to go beyond just the numbers and understand how these materials support learner success. To do that, we partner with the director of the Endeavor Foundation Center for Faculty Development to design assessments that align with broader teacher and learning goals. So our program not only helps students, it supports faculty in reflecting on their pedagogy and making intentional improvements. These revised assessments include the OER course material assessment, which is completed by students, and the OER grant implementation and impact reflection survey completed by faculty. One thing I want to emphasize here is the intentional language we use in these assessments. We avoid asking questions like, did you learn better with OER? Because we know students can't often reliably self-report learning gains in that way. So instead, we ask specific behavior-based questions like, were you able to access materials when you need them? And did the textbook help you complete assignments on time? These kind of questions give us clear insight into how OER materials support students in action, not just in theory. Through these surveys, we were able to hear from faculty that they notice students are more engaged when the materials are free and available. They appreciate the flexibility and creative freedom that OER allows. And one grantee commented that the process allowed them to better align the written materials with what they were teaching. Students appreciated the ease of access of the materials, having them available digitally right away. It helped them stay on top of assignments. We hope to learn more through the textbook affordability feedback forms, how free access to for-cost materials impacts students and faculty. This kind of user-centered feedback is key when we're trying to make a case for OER, not just to admin, but to faculty who may be on the fence. It's not only affordable, it genuinely improves how students engage with course content. These strategic library-led grants can really make a meaningful impact both in student cost savings and in fostering faculty innovation. By empowering faculty to take ownership of their course materials and giving them the support they need to make changes, we're hoping to build a sustainable model that benefits our entire campus community. Thank you.
Now, I will focus on what the Circulation Department's role has been in our textbook affordability initiative. Our Circulation Department collaborates with the Digital Strategies and Scholarly Communication Department, primarily through organizing the textbook's reserved shelf and housing class sets. Here, the Circulations Department's goal is to assist in providing both short-term and long-term access to these textbooks at no cost for our students. Our Textbooks Reserves initiative began organically, sparked by student generosity during dorm room cleanouts. As students packed up their dorms, we placed donation boxes in each residence hall, inviting them to drop off textbooks they no longer needed from previous semesters. The response was enthusiastic. Students appreciated the opportunity to give back and help future classmates. As shown in the photo on the left, these donations quickly grew into a substantial collection now housed on shelves behind the circulation desk. While this growth is exciting, it also presents a challenge as not all donated textbooks are currently in use. To ensure the collection remains relevant and helpful, we have launched a review process to align donations with current course materials. This semester, we're collaborating with student workers and the Circulation Department to evaluate the donated textbooks. With support from the Dean of Faculty, we received instructor syllabi across departments. Using this data, student workers are leveraging DeepSeek LLM, a powerful language modeling tool, to scan syllabi and compile a list of textbooks currently assigned in courses. This process allows us to cross-reference donations with actual course needs, helping us identify which textbooks should remain in the reserves and which may be retired or repurposed. This is a great example of how student initiative, library support, and technology can come together to create a sustainable and student-centered resource. Beyond student donations, instructors have several ways to ensure their students have access to required materials without incurring extra costs. They can request purchases through Olin Study Stacks or communicate directly with their library liaison to identify and secure needed resources. In some cases, instructors may even ask the Circulation Department to pull books from the library's general collection and place them on the textbook's reserve shelf for easy student access. Our current textbook reserve shelf, shown in the photo below, is organized by discipline with clear labels and policies created by the Circulation Department to make navigation simple and efficient. This thoughtful organization ensures that students can quickly locate the textbook their instructor has placed on hold. Once the student finds the correct textbook, they can check it out for 3 hours of in-library use only. This policy is intentional. It allows multiple students to share the same resource throughout the day. Students can read the material they need, take notes, and prepare for assignments without worrying about purchasing expensive textbooks. When finished, they simply return the textbook to the circulation desk, where a specialist promptly reshelves it for the next student to use. This system reflects our commitment to accessibility and equity. By combining instructor collaboration, strategic purchasing, and efficient circulation policies, we have created a model that maximizes the use of existing resources while minimizing student cost. An excellent example of our textbook affordability initiative in action can be found in the Education Department, which has emerged as a prototype for how departments can fully embrace cost-saving strategies for students. Thanks to their efforts, education students at Rollins now benefit that they no longer need to purchase any course materials for their courses. This shift is especially impactful because the education students represent one of Rollins's more financially needy populations. By removing the burden of textbook costs, the department is directly supporting student success and equity. At the start of this fall semester, many education instructors had their students begin their class session at the library, where they could check out their semester-long class set textbook. These textbooks are organized on cards located behind the circulation desk, as shown in the photo on the left. This system allows for easy access and retrieval, and at the end of the semester, students simply return their books so they can be reused by future students. In addition to the semester-long checkouts, students who forget textbooks at home or in their dorms can still stay on track. They are always welcome to borrow a copy from the Textbooks Reserve shelf, which is available for in-library use only, as a convenient backup that ensures no student falls behind due to a forgotten book. While the Education Department did not apply for the Rollins OER grant, many of its courses still made excellent use of open resources, class sets, and the textbooks reserves. This demonstrates that even without formal funding, departments can creatively leverage existing tools to make a meaningful impact. So far, we are proud of the impact we have made with our textbooks reserves. In just the first 6 weeks of this fall semester, our students have saved $2,600 through textbooks reserves alone. This shows how even short-term access can make a big difference in affordability. With 16 weeks in this fall semester, we could potentially double those savings by the end of finals, making an even greater impact on course materials affordability for all students. We look forward to the future of our OER and textbook affordability initiatives here at Rollins College. Please let us know if you have any questions or comments about what we've done so far. Thank you for attending this session.